Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most interesting blockchain projects you probably haven't heard of yet, Story Protocol, and its native token, IP. But before we start, I need to ask, have you ever created something digital? Maybe you wrote a song, created art, took a photo, or wrote a story, and then wondered how you could truly own it and get paid for it fairly in the digital world. That's exactly what Story Protocol is trying to solve. In this video, we're going to break down what Story Protocol is, how it actually works, why it matters, what the technology does, and most importantly, where the IP token price might go. This is educational content, so make sure you do your own research before investing anything. Let's get started. What is Story Protocol? Okay, so what exactly is Story Protocol? Let me simplify this for you. Right now, if you're a creator, maybe you're a musician, artist, photographer, or writer, the problem is this. How do you prove you created something? And how do you monetize it fairly without big companies taking a massive cut? For example, let's say you create a song. You upload it to Spotify. Spotify takes most of the money. You're left with pennies. You don't control distribution. You don't control licensing. You don't even know who's using your music where. This is the problem Story Protocol is solving. Story Protocol is a blockchain network. Think of it like a transparent digital record-keeping system that's specifically designed for intellectual property. IP stands for intellectual property, which includes things like music, art, writing, inventions, designs, basically anything creative that someone creates. The whole idea is to create a protocol, which is just a set of rules and standards that lets creators, artists, and IP owners control their own intellectual property completely. No middleman. No corporation taking most of the profit. Just you and your creation. Think of it like this. Instead of uploading your song to Spotify and hoping they pay you fairly, you upload it to Story Protocol. Your ownership is recorded on the blockchain, which is basically a permanent, unchangeable record. And every time someone uses your music, you can automatically get paid for it. This is revolutionary because blockchain technology is transparent, it's permanent, and it can't be changed or hacked easily. So Story Protocol isn't just another blockchain. It's specifically built for IP management and monetization. That's its unique purpose. How does blockchain technology work? Now, to understand Story Protocol fully, you need to understand the basics of blockchain technology. Don't worry, I'll keep it simple. Blockchain is basically a digital record-keeping system. Imagine you have a notebook, and every page in that notebook records a transaction or piece of information. Once you write something in the notebook, it can't be erased or changed. That page is permanent. Now imagine that instead of one notebook, hundreds of people have identical copies of this notebook. Everyone is connected in a network. Every time someone wants to add a new page, everyone in the network verifies it's legitimate before it gets added. And once it's added, everyone updates their notebook copy. That's essentially blockchain. The key advantages are: first, it's transparent. Everyone can see the record. No secrets, no hiding. Second, it's permanent. Once something is recorded on blockchain, it cannot be changed or deleted. Third, it's secure. Because everyone has a copy and verifies new entries, it's virtually impossible to hack or manipulate. Fourth, it's decentralized. No single company or government controls it. It's controlled by the network participants. Now, how does this apply to intellectual property? Let's say you create a song and record it on Story Protocol's blockchain. Your ownership is permanently recorded. The timestamp shows when you created it. Your wallet address proves who owns it, and the record shows it can't be forged. Now, let's say a movie producer wants to use your song in their film. They don't contact some record label. They contact you directly. They pay you directly through a smart contract, which is basically an automatic agreement on the blockchain. Every time your song gets used, the blockchain automatically records it. You can see exactly how many times it was used, where it was used, and you automatically get paid. No middleman. No corporation taking 80% of the profits. Just you, your creation, and fair compensation. That's the power of blockchain for IP management. And Story Protocol is built specifically to make this process seamless and efficient. The IP token. Now let's talk about the IP token. This is the currency native to Story Protocol. Think of it like this. If Story Protocol is the platform, the IP token is the fuel that makes the platform work. The IP token has several uses. First, governance. If you own IP tokens, you get a vote on how Story Protocol evolves and improves. It's democratic. Token holders decide the future direction of the protocol. Second, transaction fees. When creators register their IP on the blockchain, they pay small fees. These fees are paid in IP tokens. This incentivizes people to own IP tokens. Third, staking rewards. If you lock up your IP tokens, essentially holding them without selling, you earn rewards. This is how the network secures itself. People are incentivized to hold tokens and keep the network secure. Fourth, it represents ownership and value. As Story Protocol becomes more valuable and more creators use it, the IP token becomes more valuable too. So if you own IP tokens, you're basically betting that Story Protocol becomes the standard for IP management across the world. You're betting that creators will increasingly use it to manage their intellectual property. Currently, the IP token is trading at around $3 to $5. But let's look at some price predictions. Price predictions and analysis. Let's talk about where the IP token price might go. And remember, this is not financial advice. This is educational analysis only. First, let's look at the current situation. As of January 2026, the IP token is trading around $3 to $5 per token. The market capitalization is in the hundreds of millions of dollars range. Now, there are various price predictions from analysts and data scientists. For 2026, some predictions range from $5.89 to $20.20. That's a pretty wide range, which shows there's significant uncertainty. For 2030, predictions range from around $18 to $40. Some more aggressive predictions even go higher, suggesting potential multi-hundred-dollar valuations. Now, let's look at the factors that could make the price go up. First, adoption. The more creators and businesses use Story Protocol, the more valuable it becomes. Think about how Ethereum price increases when more developers build on it. Second, partnerships. If major content platforms like TikTok, YouTube, music streaming services integrate Story Protocol, the IP token value explodes. Why? Because suddenly, millions of creators need IP tokens. Third, regulatory clarity. Right now, crypto is somewhat uncertain legally. If governments create clear frameworks for how blockchain IP management works, it removes risk and institutional money floods in. That drives prices up. Fourth, technological improvements. Story Protocol is constantly upgrading. Better features mean more users, mean higher token value. Fifth, the growing creator economy. More people are creating content professionally: music, art, videos, writing. As they demand better tools and fairer compensation, platforms like Story Protocol benefit. Now, let's look at what could make the price go down. First, competition. Other blockchain projects might solve the IP problem better or faster. Second, lack of adoption. If creators continue to use traditional platforms like Spotify, YouTube, and record labels, Story Protocol never reaches critical mass. Third, regulatory crackdowns. If governments heavily restrict cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology, the entire crypto market crashes, including IP. Fourth, technological issues. If there are security vulnerabilities or the technology doesn't work as promised, trust is destroyed. Fifth, market crashes. If Bitcoin crashes or the broader crypto market enters a bear market, IP usually goes down too. So the price depends on these factors playing out over time. Why Story Protocol matters. Let me explain why Story Protocol is actually important, beyond just the token price. Right now, we live in a world where content creators are getting screwed. A musician makes a song. Spotify pays them 0.003 cents per stream. The company takes massive profit. That's not fair. A digital artist creates amazing art. They sell it on traditional platforms. Fees get taken at every step. They end up with 20% of what they sold it for. A writer writes a book. A traditional publisher prints it, and the writer gets royalties on a percentage, while the publisher controls distribution and pricing. This is broken. Story Protocol and blockchain-based IP solutions fix this by allowing direct creator-to-consumer relationships. No middleman, no exploitative corporations. Beyond fairness, there's efficiency. Right now, licensing is complicated. A filmmaker wants to use a song in a movie. They have to contact music publishers, negotiate rights, pay upfront fees, and hope everything is legal. It's slow and bureaucratic. With Story Protocol, they just click a button, smart contracts execute automatically, and the creator is instantly compensated. Efficiency increases, costs decrease. There's also verification. Right now, counterfeiting is a huge problem. Fake paintings sold as originals. Copied music claimed as originals. With blockchain, ownership and originality are permanently recorded and verifiable. Finally, there's the potential for programmable IP. Imagine this. A song is programmed so that every time it's used, not only the original creator gets paid, but featured artists, producers, and studios also get paid automatically. No middleman distributing money. Everyone gets paid instantly and fairly. That's powerful. This is why some people believe Story Protocol could become the infrastructure for the digital creative economy. If even a fraction of global creators start using it, the value could be enormous. Risks and challenges. Now, we need to talk about the risks. Because this is a speculative crypto investment, and you could lose your money. First, adoption risk. Story Protocol needs creators to use it. Right now, most creators use traditional platforms. Making the switch requires significant change in behavior. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe creators decide they like Spotify and YouTube anyway. Second, competition. There are other blockchain projects trying to solve IP management. Maybe one of them has better technology or marketing. Maybe they win instead of Story Protocol. Third, regulatory risk. Governments could heavily regulate cryptocurrencies, which would destroy demand for IP tokens. Right now, this is a significant risk. Fourth, technology risk. Smart contracts can be buggy. Blockchains can be hacked. If Story Protocol has security vulnerabilities, people lose money and trust is destroyed. Fifth, market risk. Cryptocurrency is volatile. Bitcoin could crash 80% in a bear market, and IP would crash with. You could invest at the peak and watch your investment decline 90%. This is real. Sixth, liquidity risk. IP is less liquid than Bitcoin or Ethereum. That means there might be fewer buyers if you want to sell quickly. You might be stuck. Seventh, execution risk. The team might fail to deliver on their roadmap. Development might be slower than expected. They might make bad decisions. These are real risks. Don't invest money you can't afford to lose. The 2026 roadmap. Let's talk about what's coming for Story Protocol in 2026. The protocol team has published a roadmap. Key developments expected. First, mainstream adoption initiatives. The team is working with major content platforms to integrate Story Protocol. These partnerships would be huge for adoption. Second, improved user experience. Right now, blockchain interfaces are complicated. The team is making it simpler so regular creators can use it without technical knowledge. Third, scalability improvements. Blockchain transactions can be slow and expensive. The team is implementing solutions to make transactions faster and cheaper. This is critical for mass adoption. Fourth, international expansion. Story Protocol is currently strongest in Western markets. Expansion into Asia, Latin America, and Africa would dramatically increase user base. Fifth, regulatory engagement. The team is working with governments to establish clear legal frameworks. This removes uncertainty and could unlock institutional investment. If even some of these succeed, it would be bullish for the IP token price. However, these are goals, not guarantees. Development is unpredictable. Roadmaps often change. Investment considerations. If you're thinking about investing in IP tokens, here are some things to consider. First, this is highly speculative. You could lose 100% of your investment. Only invest money you can afford to lose completely. Second, dollar cost averaging is smart. Instead of buying a huge amount at once, buy a little bit over time. This reduces risk. Third, diversify. Don't put all your crypto investment into Story Protocol. Have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other projects too. Fourth, understand what you're buying. Make sure you truly understand how blockchain works and what Story Protocol is trying to do. Fifth, avoid leverage and margin trading. Borrowing money to buy crypto is dangerous for beginners. Sixth, secure your tokens. If you buy IP tokens, store them securely. Use a hardware wallet if possible. Never leave large amounts on exchanges. Seventh, have a strategy. When would you sell? What's your price target? What's your stop loss? Think about this before you buy. Eighth, ignore hype and FOMO. Don't buy because someone on TikTok told you to. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. Remember, the goal of the creators of Story Protocol is to create a fair ecosystem for intellectual property. If you believe in that mission, and you believe the technology can succeed, then it might be a worthwhile investment. But those are big ifs. Conclusion. Alright, let's wrap this up. Story Protocol is a blockchain network designed specifically for managing intellectual property. The IP token is the native currency that powers the protocol. The vision is compelling: a world where creators own their work completely, get paid fairly, and don't need exploitative middlemen. The technology is solid. Blockchain provides transparency, permanence, and security. The market opportunity is huge. If even a small percentage of global creators use it, the value could grow significantly. But the risks are real. Adoption is uncertain, competition exists, regulation is unclear, technology can fail, and markets are volatile. If you invest in IP tokens, understand what you're buying, understand the risks, only invest money you can afford to lose, and have a long-term perspective. As for price predictions, don't get too attached to specific numbers. Crypto markets are unpredictable. What matters is whether you believe in the fundamental vision and technology. Remember, this is educational content, not financial advice. Do your own research. Consult a financial advisor if needed. Make your own decisions. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos about crypto and blockchain. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.